And this is going to be the second series of our project. In this project, we'll learn how to design a professional medical app using Figma. So if it is your first time joining us, feel free to interact and ask questions whenever necessary. Your questions are welcome. So whether you're a beginner or an experienced designer, this is going to be a step-by-step guide that will help you bring your creative ideas to life. My name is Mohammed, and I'll be taking you through the entire design process from brainstorming to building an interactive prototype. Now, what we're going to do first is to create our design flow. Our design flow is going to contain all the information we need to build our application. So the first step we are going to do is to open your Figma file. Then you go to new design and select FigJam board. So we're going to use FigJam board to create our design flow. So quickly, once we're in the FigJam board, you can rename your title as the design flow. Okay, so this is going to be the title of our project and design flow of our medical app. So at the end of the day, we'll come up with a unique name that we can assign to our application. So we're going to start now. So the first thing we're going to do, we'll be using these symbols here to create our FigJam file. So if you have this pop-up, you can close it and make sure you have something like this in a plain background board. So what we're going to do first is to start with the key concept that is very important for our application. So we'll be using the rectangular shapes to indicate all this. We can use a maximum of 2 colors, and maybe wherever I stop, I can give you a project that you complete before the next class. Now quickly, let's begin. You're going to select your rectangle and bring it here. You can always hold your mouse and drag, and you can resize it to the size you want. So this is going to be our design flow as the title. Okay, so if you're not seeing it, you can hold down the control key and zoom in, and so that you can see clearly what we are doing. So the first thing we're going to look at is the project scopes. Now once you hover your mouse here, you can tap on this arrow and you're going to have something like this. So here, this is going to be our project scope. Now under our project scope, we will have some certain things we're going to include in our project scope, right? So we're going to tap on this arrow again, and this will bring another rectangle here. So in this rectangle, we're going to have the purpose of our application. So it's going to be the app purpose. Why are we creating this application? So we'll include that in detail in the file I will share with you in the group. So what is the purpose of the application? And inside the project scope again, we're going to have one more that also describe who our target audience are, and we'll also have one more that also describe our core features. And we're gonna have one more again that also talk about our platform. So which platform are we creating this application for? Is it going to be for both Android and iOS, or is only going to be limited to iOS? So all these things or Android is very important to note. Okay, so now once we are done, we're going to make a duplicate of this and have a copy by the right side of it, so that we can create the second key area. So hold on your Alt key and drag, then you bring it to this side and position it there. All right, then here you can also tap the main rectangle, and if you want to see small arrow, then click on that arrow. It will draw another rectangle for you. Then the next step is going to be our research here. So we're going to rename this as our research. Okay, research. So quickly, before we move further, let's update the colors of the rectangle so that you can have the main label and the sub label to be dark. So click there and come down to this your color icon, then we can update that to black. Similarly, you can hold down the three together, select this, select this, select this, and select this. Then you update the color to black. Then you can leave the headers to be there, but the sub features under the particular heading should be in dark color. Alright, so we are done with that. Now go back to the next one, which is going to be the research. Now in our research, we have to make some analysis while we are building our application. This is where we're going to look at competitor analysis, what is already available in the market, the products we are building. Definitely there will be similar kind of product in the Play Store already and iOS, and also a lot of Apple Store. So what is going to make our own unique? That is where the research analysis come in. So we're going to look at the competitor analysis. All right, and under the research again, we'll be looking at the user research. Okay, so we're going to do our research to see exactly what are the pain points of the user that are already using the existing product that are in the market, and what is going to make difference when we create our own from their pain point. Then we also, under the research analysis again, we're going to look at the market trend. We'll look into current design trend in healthcare app for more inspiration. Okay, so here we're going to look at market trends. Okay, that is all for the research analysis. For here we're going to click the three together and also update the color to black. Now zoom in, hold down the control key and zoom out. Now we have that. Then next we are going to select that heading again, Alt key, then we drag to the right for another key area. So the next one is going to be our addition. So here we zoom in again, and this is going to be for addition, right? And planning. So here is going to be the addition and planning. So in this section here, we'll be looking at brainstorming, user stories and feature prioritization. Here we'll be looking at what generate ideas and possible solution to users' pain point from our research we've made in the previous one. They will also look at how to write scenarios of how users will interact with our applications. Then the feature prioritization, where now we can now decide which features are the most helps for the MVP, that is the minimum viable product. This is quite important when you are building your application. So here we're gonna have the subcategories here to be the brainstorming. We also have another one. They are not supposed to connect, excuse me. It was Z to that. So brainstorming, we'll have another one which is going to be user story. And we can add another one by the right, which is going to be the feature prioritization. So here I'm going to select this and drag it into the middle. Then we're going to position this arrow to the second one like this. All right, so you can just click and drag, then double click and make sure you center the line. All right, so here we're going to change the direction of the arrow to the right side of it. All right, so alternatively just select it and delete it. Select it, delete it, select this one, delete it. Then you can now use this arrow to connect it. Right, so here we don't need this. You're also going to delete it. So similarly, our subheaders here are going to be in black color. So we are done with the third item, which is the addition and planning. Now we're going to move on to the fourth item. So you're going to click this Alt key, then you drag to make another copy by the right, and you zoom out to see what you're doing. Make sure it's all connected to the heading. I'm going to zoom out a bit, then I'll explain one or two things so that you know how to handle it effectively. You can see there is spacing between them, right? So now I'm going to zoom in. This header, we're going to make sure it's positioned to the middle of the, so this is going to be something like this, but we'll continue creating our features until when we are complete, when we are done, then we can bring it to the middle of the chart so that it will look like this. All right, great. So now let's proceed and go to the next stage of our application. So here we're going to create a brief design. So the next one is going to be the brief design. That is the next design flow. So here under the brief design, we'll be looking at the application objective. What is the objective of our application? Now click here, and here is going to be the objective, application app objective. Okay, so here we'll be looking at, we're going to outline the goals of the application. What are the goals the application is going to offer and all that. Then we're also going to look at let's add one by the right, which is going to be our target audience as well. Okay, then let's add one more, and another one is going to be key features. So under the key features, we'll be looking at specific we're going to specify the core features the application will offer. We're going to come that like the booking, the conferencing, telemedicine, and all that. Then we're also going to have one more that is going to talk about the visual style. In the visual style here, we'll be looking at the design style, how it's going to be clean, how it's going to be friendly, and how it's going to be user-centered and all that. Then we are also going to make sure we follow the brand guideline, which is very important. So we're going to include fonts, we're going to include colors that we maintain, and any design element that is applicable that is going to fall under our branding guidelines. All right, so now we're going to click there and update that to our branding guideline. So once you are done, you can zoom out and also select the 4 subcategories together. Hold down your shift key, select. Alternatively, you can drag to select all, then you update the color to dark. Similarly, we are going to move this to the center of them and also take this arrow to the middle one. Move it from there and bring it to the middle one. All right, so now I'm zooming so that I see clearly. You bring it here, okay, and make sure it's straight. All right, so you can click and drag until you get what you want, but make sure it's straight. All right, so that is just telling that all these are under that. Alternatively, you click them together, then we move them to the right a bit and make sure they are centered. Then this way we can bring the arrow to the middle of the frame like this. So we'll drag them to the left again till when the arrow is centered aligned. So I think it's okay like this. Okay, remain it small, select all, move to the left small. All right, so you can do that manually until when the arrow is straight. So alternatively, you can use your navigation arrows to do that carefully. So now I think it's perfect. So we are done with the brief design stage. Now after the brief design stage, what are we going to do next? The next thing we're going to look at is going to be the user flow design. So in the user flow design here, quickly we're going to Alt key and copy this to the next stage of it. Okay, now in the next stage here, this is going to be the user flow. So here we'll now design the user flow to see how our users can achieve from one screen to another, what is going to be their movement from onboarding to any kind of activity they want to take on the application. So the user flow is also very important. So here we'll be looking at the map journey. Here under the user flow, we'll look at the map journey, and we're also going to look at the the screens. So we'll be looking at all the screens that's going to contain in our application. So I'm going to add one more to the right. So I select that, and one more to the right. I'm also going to look at the key screens. So now in the key screens here, we'll be looking at the login, the dashboard, appointment, profile, and all that contain in all the applications. So this is what you're going to be looking at in the user flow. So this one too, we centralize it. We can also create one to be like this, so that everything here falls under the user flow. All right, so we can quickly delete this part and leave it like this. Okay. All right, so now let's go to the next one. The next one is going to be the wireframing. So after our user flow, we're looking at our wireframing. So let's bring them closer. If they are not much, I'll lead to here, and also this one, you bring it here. All right, so select this one and also Alt key to make a duplicate to the right. Now you can zoom in to see what you are doing. So the next one is going to be the wireframing, which is also very important. We're going to create our wireframe to see what is going to be the skelter of our application. So under the wireframe here, we'll be looking at we're looking at the low fidelity. So here we're looking at the low fidelity wireframes, and also the tools we're going to use in designing our wireframe, so which is already known to us. We'll be using the Figma. So we use Figma to create our wireframe. So here we're going to update that to black, and also go to the previous one, select the two together, and also update them to black from your color here. All right, so we are done with the wireframe. Then the next one is going to be the design system, which is also very important. So we click here, Alt key, we drag to the right, and we're going to click there and add one down. Okay, so we're going to reduce. So this is going to be our design system creation. So here we create our design system, and when we are creating our design system, we'll be looking at how to create more reusable components like the colors, the forms, and all that. So we're looking at components, we're looking at typographies and colors. So here we add one more to the right. We're looking at typography, and colors. Okay, so these are the two things, and the last part under this thing, we will also be looking at the let's Alt key, copy this to the left, sorry. We'll also be looking at the icons, so wherever possible. So we'll be looking at the icons and also the images. So here, that is going to fall under our design system creation, so imagery. Okay, so these are the three things we'll be looking at under the design system. So select them together and also update the color to black. So we are done with the design system creation. The next one that comes after this is, let's drag this backward a bit. The next one that comes, we'll be looking at the high fidelity design. So here, select that and also Alt key to copy to the right. So this is going to be the high fidelity design. Okay, in the high fidelity design, we'll be looking at what we're going to design in Figma. So we start creating a detailed prototype how to do it, all that navigating from one screen to another. So here we'll be looking at the UI elements, and so here we'll be looking at the UI element, and we'll also be looking at the mockups. So here also we're looking at the mockup screen. So you select that, Alt key, and drag to the right, I'll be looking at, excuse me, that is double. It's going to be the mockup scripts. Okay, that is what we're going to look at under the high fidelity. Okay, so we select this and drag it to the left, and also move this to the middle. So we now zoom out, select this two, and also make sure the color is black. All right, so we are done with the next stage, and the one that follows after this is going to be our prototyping, which is the most sensitive and part that require more workload, so to make your design come to life. So here we'll be looking at the prototype. So prototyping. So under the prototyping, we'll be looking at the interactive prototype, right? So we should know that is very important. So here we'll be looking at our interactive prototype. So we'll make sure our prototype is interactive. That is one of the most important thing. And also look at micro interaction. Select this Alt key, you drag to the right. You also be looking at micro interaction. When we mean micro interaction, we are looking at how to add animations, transition to simulate the real in the application in real behavior. So these are the micro interaction we are talking about here. So we are going to add that there as well. So here, select this two and also update the color to black. All right, so let me zoom in so that you can see clearly micro interaction, interactive prototype. So here I'm going to move this to the left a bit, keep it here, and this other one too, I'm going to move it back and keep it there. Then the header can come in between. There's a prototyping. All right, so after prototyping, we'll also add one more. I'm going to add the hold and the Alt key, then you drag. So here we'll be looking at how to test our design. Okay, so we look at user testing. So in the user testing here, this is where we're going to test our prototype. So here we'll test our prototype and also get feedback from small group of people that we test the prototype and improve in anywhere or any area that is necessary. So here Alt key, you drag, and we also look at get feedback here under the prototype. So we get feedback. All right, so this is very important when you are designing your application. So I'm also going to select the two together and update the color and also move this to the left a bit and move this to the center of the frame. All right, so we have achieved that. Up next is going to be the final design. So in the final design, we just launch the application and present it. Then we now take more reviews from people so far that use it. So this is going to be the final design. So it's very final and launching. Okay, so then by this time we might have get feedback from the group of people that are going to test the application, and we have improved in those areas that need to be improved. So here is going to be the final review. Okay, so final review, and so let's make it presentation and final review. All right, so this is going to be presentation and final review. So this is also going to be black. So this is going to be all the information that will contain your design flow. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Excuse me, you might not see clearly, but I have to do that. So here our header will now come into the middle of our design, so that it's going to tell you that all these that we are talking about, they are under the application itself. Okay, so you should, at the end of the day, you should have something like this. Okay, my screen is small, that is why you cannot see, but I'm going to zoom in so that you see clearly. So you should have something like this. Okay, So this is going to create a design flow like this for you that will now give you a clear roadmap of what you are going to do for all the steps you're going to take in designing your application. So I'll take it to the left and zoom in so that we can have it one at a time. So you can see we started with the project scope. Under the project scope, that is where we know what we are talking about, our target audience. We're talking about the purpose of our application. We're talking about the core features, and we are talking about the platform we're going to publish this application. And we now proceeded to the research there, where we're going to make user research, identify our competitors and the market trends that is very important to include into our applications. Then we now move on to ideation and planning. This is where brainstorming come, ideas, user stories, and feature prioritization and all that. Then the next one that follows is the brief design. This is where we talk about the objective of the application, more of the target audience, key features, visual design, and branding guideline. So then the next one is the user flow. This is where we create a map journey on going from one screen to the other. And the next one here is a key success and order. Then we now come to the wireframe. We're going to create the low fidelity wireframe. Then we go to our design system creation, where we're going to deal with icons, reusable components, typographies, and colors. Then UI element for the high fidelity design. Then the mockup, and we're going to look at the prototype, interactive prototype, and the micro interaction. And lastly, we're going to use user testing to get feedback from our test prototype, get feedback, and we'll now launch it and preview for presentation. So this is all what we're going to create, and I'll be happy if you can create something like this and share it. Once you are done, just comment done in the comment section, and I'm going to inspect all your work. But I want to see each and every one of you design this and make sure you follow the same step to get it done. This is all what we are going to do for lecture 1, and after this lecture, the next lecture that comes in, we're going to start the next stage of the project. So if you have any question, drop it in the comment section and I'm going to attend to you. See you in the next lecture. You are welcome.